Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I am Eric, and now that I've been to pretty much every Six Flags park, I found a tier list with over 100 Six Flags roller coasters, and I'm going to complete that now. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel so you know when new theme park content comes out. We'll have rankings, reviews, tons of theme park content both serious and funny. Now to kind of lay out how each tier is going to work, S tier is going to be best of the best roller coasters, most likely my top 10, top 15 range, absolutely top rides. A will be amazing roller coasters that are not quite at that tier, but still very good. And then B will be still great rides for sure, but still not the best of the best kind of thing or top 25, top 30 worthy, but still definitely easy star attractions in a park. And then C will be good rides, worth riding, enjoyable, not too much else, but very good. And then D will be decent, acceptable rides, and maybe some family coasters would go in this tier. E would be lesser family coasters and just kind of not enjoyable rides, and then F would be my least favorite rides, ones I really hate. And then there's the haven't ridden, which will apply to a few of these. Now I will point out there are more good rides than bad in my opinion. That's why 4 of the tiers are essentially good, and then you have D as the middle rather than C. Let's begin. Alpine Bobsleds. Have not ridden. American Eagle at Six Flags Great America. This is an excellent ride. I'm between B and C on this one. It's going to be tough, but this is going to be very hard to agree with overall, because remember, there's 100 of these. You're bound to disagree with some. I feel that I'm leaning a little towards C. Is that American Thunder? I have not ridden that. That was closed when I went. Apocalypse the ride at Magic Mountain. Pretty similar. I still think it's a very good ride, but that's also going to go in C. Have not ridden Aquaman Power Wave. Is that Batman the Dark Knight at New England? Okay, so that one is tough. It's a good ride, but it's not great. So I think I'm going to have to put it in this C tier, but it's definitely much lower than the other 2 wooden coasters there. Free spins I will put in the same tier as that. And now that I'm thinking about it, with those being there, I feel like these wooden coasters need to move up one. So B tier will be a lot of roller coasters, I'm pretty sure. Batman the Ride, that's definitely going to go in B tier, but pretty high B tier. I enjoy those rides quite a bit. Batwing, very similar at Six Flags America. Fantastic roller coaster, underrated, and definitely deserves a pretty high spot. Alright, Bizarro. Now Medusa at Six Flags Great Adventure. This one I like more than Batman the Rides. It could be A. I enjoy the kind of wacky theming, and I feel it's just a fantastic ride. I'm not sure. I guess I'm gonna go A for now, but maybe if there's more really great ones, I'll move it down. Blue Hawk at Over Georgia. That one's fine, but it's lower than the other ones that are in C. That said, I'll put it in C. Boomerang. Okay. I don't think any of the Six Flags Boomerangs are particularly enjoyable. I think they could be anywhere from E to D. So with that range, I'm leaning a little more toward the E range, because I don't love most of those. Boss. Boss is tough. On its own, like its best elements, its intensity, speed, and all that could have been A tier, but this is a very painful roller coaster. It's gonna have to go in C tier. I enjoy parts of it, but others I do not. Canyon Blaster, Great Escape. That ride is horrible. That is the worst mine train by far. That's gonna go F tier. Comet at Great Escape. Comet is comparable in quality to the other wooden coasters in B tier, so that'll be a B tier ride. What is this next one? Is that Dahlonega? Alright, Dahlonega Mine Train at Over Georgia. Not the best mine train, but fairly thrilling and a nice setting. So I think it's not as bad as the Boomerang. I'll put this in D tier. Daredevil Dive. I'm going to say that one's probably... It's higher than Batman the Ride for me, but I don't think I would put it in A tier. So we'll put that in B for now. Dark Knight Coaster. Pretty underrated, long family of Wild Mouse kind of thing. I enjoy it. I feel the best parts are the theming elements and that it's pretty comfortable for a Wild Mouse. I would say It will go in D tier, but I still enjoy it quite a bit, but it's just not up there with these good C tier rides. Demon, Great America. That one I'd say is around where some of the Boomerangs are. I like the theming elements. It's either D for Demon or E. I'm gonna go with D. It's close, but it did have to go there. Alright, Diamondback at Frontier City was closed when I went. Dr. Diabolical, Fiesta Texas was yet to open. Dragon is a fun family coaster. It's one of the stronger. I will put that in D tier. El Toro. El Toro, a great adventure, I think. While I do find it somewhat rough, that airtime is so good, I will be making this the first S tier on here. Alright, Firebird at Six Flags America. It's gonna definitely be one of the bottom 2 tiers, one of the worst B&Ms. I don't think it's quite as terrible as it could be. I think I'll put it in E tier. Definitely not one I enjoy. Alright, Flash Vertical Velocity. There's 2 of those, Discovery Kingdom and Great America. I've only ridden the one at Great America, so I'll be ranking based on that one. And this is a good ride for sure, though it's not quite up there with the B tier stuff, so I'll be putting it in C. Full Throttle. Very strong launch coaster. It'll be going above C tier, I think. B tier is a good spot for this one. It's probably among the lower B tier rides, but it is still definitely a great roller coaster. Georgia Scorcher, very comparable in quality to Batman the Dark Knight, so this is going to go in C tier. Next up, I believe, is Gold Rusher at Magic Mountain. Not a Wild Mouse I know too much. I mean, Mine Train, I'm sorry. Not one I know too much about, but I guess D tier. It's one that I haven't done in a little while, but it was alright. Alright, Goliath at La Ronde. So this Goliath is a very strong one, with great airtime. The finale is quite strong. This is much better than Medusa or Bizarro, whatever you want to call it now. But it's going to go in A tier because it's not quite up there in the S. But still, excellent ride. Goliath at Great America. Definitely an A or S tier ride. I feel there are some minor flaws with it, but thinking about what else will be on the list, I kind of want to lead toward S, but for now, I don't know. I'm going to put it in A for now, but if I find there's very few S's and Goliath deserves a spot up with them, I'll put it there. Magic Mountain's Goliath, definitely going to go in C tier. I know some would put it way down here, some would put it way up here, but it's going to go in C because it's a decent hyper all around, but nothing I love about it. Goliath at New England is on here, that's nice, I rode that, that is an easy F tier. Worst Six Flags coaster in my opinion. Moving on. Goliath at Over Georgia. This is superior to other Goliaths in my opinion, and it's such a good hyper coaster, and compared to other stuff at Six Flags, for now I think I will put this in S. We'll see if that changes. Gotham City Gauntlet Escape from Arkham Asylum. Worst Wild Mouse, terrible ride, definite F tier. Great American Scream Machine. I hear it has improved over the years, but my ride was among my least favorite, and I'm gonna have to put that in F tier as well. Though I'm sure if I got a rewrite, it can go closer to D or C, and be similar to Boss. Green Lantern. That is worse than Firebird. I'm not sure if it should go in F. I don't like this stand-up at all. I will keep it out just barely. Harley Quinn at Discovery Kingdom. Did not ride it. It was closed before I got there. Alright, Iron Rattler. Easy S tier. Best coaster I've mentioned so far. Just phenomenal. RMC hybrid. Great setting, excellent elements, excellent sense of speed. I love that ride. Jersey Devil. This is going to go in A tier. I know some who think it's kind of slow, but I don't think it is. I like the ride quite a bit. Joker at Discovery Kingdom. Unpopular pick. I like this RMC a lot more than others. I think it is fast, long, well-paced, has some of the best inversions and airtime of any RMC. That will be going in the S tier. Joker's Jinx. A Premier Rides coaster, pretty comparable in quality to Full Throttle. Maybe not quite as good, but I'll put that in B tier. Judge Roy Scream, have not ridden in a while. Not my favorite wooden coaster, but not as bad as something like Great American Scream Machine, but not as good as something like Boss. So I'll put that in D tier. King Dakar, easy S tier. Some don't love the ride, but for me, man, it's awesome. I thoroughly enjoy King Dakar. The launch is fantastic, it's intense, fun, short but sweet. La Vibora, Not my favorite family coaster, but it will go in D tier. It's got its moments for sure, but it's not quite up there. Max Force. Some may put this in A tier, maybe even S. I'm gonna put it in B. I think of every roller coaster in B tier, Max Force is probably my favorite one for its launch and its inline twist, but other than that, there isn't much that stands out about it. Medusa Steel Coaster, never been to Six Flags Mexico. Medusa at Discovery Kingdom, not quite up there with Bizarro at Great Adventure, but I guess it might be the best or second best of the B coasters, but yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that in B tier. Mind Eraser, these SLCs are not great, and I would say that's probably going to be in this tier, F. Le Monster, underrated wooden coaster, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's between D or C though. I don't think it does a whole lot, but it's also not painful, and it's pretty long and enjoyable. I guess technically from an overall objective standpoint, it's more like D, and I guess I will leave it there. Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, the best Premier Rides coaster, excellent ride. Definitely A or B, and it depends on which one. St. Louis would be B, over Texas would be A. And because we're doing both combined, I guess it's more fair to put it in B, but the over Texas one is surprisingly much better. Pandemonium, labeled as Mr. Six's Pandemonium, good family coaster, but it has to go in D tier. New Revolution, similar story, it's not going to go any higher than D. New Texas Giant is going to be similar to Joker for me. It doesn't hold its speed as well as other RMCs, and I get that, but I love the ride, and it's definitely one of my favorites. S tier for that one. The Magic Mountain Ninja will go in D tier, and the St. Louis Ninja is going to be C or D for me. Plenty would say F. I thought it was pretty fun. It's tough between the two, but I guess I don't think it's quite as good as something like Batman the Ride or Flash Vertical Velocity or Boss. So I guess I'll put it in D, but barely. Nitro, B&M Hyper, love the B&M Hypers. That'll go in A tier. It's not quite Goliath, but it's great. Poltergeist is similar in quality to Joker's Jinx, so that'll go in B tier. And we're running out of room here. Alright. So, Predator at Darien Lake. That will be C tier or B tier. I like it much more than Boss. I'm gonna go with B tier on this one. It is a pretty solid wooden coaster. A little rough maybe, but very fun and enjoyable. Raging Cajun, terrifying family coaster, but D is fine for this one because it's a decent ride. What do we got next? Really running out of room here. Oh, that's Raging Bull? How old is that sign? Okay, well, Raging Bull is either A or S tier. I think it's right behind Goliath, but definitely above the rest in the A tier, including Goliath. So I think for now, it is fair to leave this in A tier, and it's pretty tough. It's so close. I kind of want to give it an S tier, but I guess I'll leave it in A for now. Next up is Riddler's Revenge, presumably at, I'm not even sure which park this Riddler Revenge is at. I'm not gonna touch that one yet. I know there's the New England one. That one is gonna be C tier. It's still a bit bumpy, but still fun. Riddler Revenge at Magic Mountain is either B or C. I'm gonna lean toward B, but it's one of the lower B ones. Ride of Steel at Darien Lake. Okay. That one is not quite the best of hypers, but it will go in the B tier. I do actually prefer Batwing, so there's quite a bit of variety in this tier. River King Mine Train, that's D or E. It's not my favorite mine train coaster out there. Close to Dahlonega, much closer to E than D. Well, to E than C, but it'll go in D overall. Roadrunner Express at Fiesta, Texas. It's not a standout mine train coaster like some have said, in my opinion. It might be C. It's the closest to C a mine train can get. And looking at the other things I put in this tier, I feel like I have to put this in D. Roar, I have not ridden. Runaway Mine Train, I assume at Great Adventure, that's D. Runaway Mine Train at Over Texas, that is C or B. It is far and away the best mine train. It is intense, crazy, but not painful, and pretty well themed, and I think it's just such a fun ride. It's not quite up there with something like Ride of Steel or Apocalypse though. I'll put it in C. but it might be the best C tier coaster of those. Runaway Mountain, that's B tier. No one talks about Runaway Mountain, but it is phenomenal. It is straight up not a family coaster. Screaming Eagle, unpopular one, but I think this is very comparable to Great American Scream Machine. I like it a little more, somewhat for the setting and all. I think, while some love it, I understand it's D or E for me. And I find it more painful than some of these in E, so I'm gonna have to leave it in E tier. Scream at Magic Mountain, that one is gonna go in C, not a favorite of mine. Shockwave, B or C tier, but it's probably closer to B for its great airtime. Silver Bullet was closed. The legendary Skull Mountain is a fine family coaster, but it's not nearly up there with something like Runaway Mine Train. Steam and Demon, one of the weaker aero loopers, I will be putting that in E tier. Steel Lasso, that's tough. It is a fine family coaster, but it is not as good as something like Raging Cajun or Pandemonium, so I guess I'll have to put that here, in E tier. Alright, which Superman is next? El Ultimo, alright, have not been on that one. Superman Escape from Krypton, that one is going to go in B or C. It is better than Scream for sure, but it is not really better than some of these B tier ones, but I guess there is quite a bit of range of B tier. I consider this among the weaker ones if I were to put this in B tier, but I think I'll put it there. Superman Krypton Coaster, possibly my favorite floorless, I'll put that in A tier. Excellent terrain usage, great ride. Superman the Ride at New England, that is an easy S tier. It is probably better than everything on here besides Iron Rattler, and maybe King the Cow, but no, I think I prefer Superman the Ride. It's an underrated coaster, honestly. Alright, Superman Ultimate Flight, the excellent Skyrocket 2. Underrated, it'll go in B tier, but it is certainly closer to A than some of the others there. And then we have Superman Ultimate Flight, the Flying Coaster. I enjoy this more than a lot of people do. I feel like it's right around where Batwing is, so it will have to go in B tier, but it is one of the best in the B tier. Tantrum at Darien Lake is great, but short. I'm not sure what to do. I think between B or C, I guess it is a little more of a C thing, but I also have Predator in B, and I do like it a little more. It'll go in B tier. Tatsu has to be A or S. I guess it's not quite up there with some of the hybrids and hyper coasters I put in there, so I will say this is probably the best A tier besides maybe Goliath and Raging Bull. Next up is Thunderbolt at New England. That's right where all the other decent coasters there are. C tier. Toboggan Nordique at La Ronde. A good Wild Mouse, but not enough to put it above where Dark Knight Coaster is. Twisted Colossus, S tier. My favorite of all Six Flags roller coasters, so I had to go there. Twisted Cyclone, far and away the weakest of RMC hybrids, but it is still better than Jersey Devil by a bit, so I'll put it in A tier, because it is a great ride for sure. What is this next one supposed to be? I have no idea what some of these next ones are. So, that's a Viper, that's the Darien Lake one. Darien Lake's Viper will go in D tier. It's better than some arrows, but worse than others. Viper at Great America is going to go in B tier. Great wooden coaster. Viper at Magic Mountain is one that people love and I do not, so we're going to put that one in the E tier. You know what? Maybe I should put in D. No, I'll leave it in E. Now we have Viper. I did ride Green Lantern First Flight. That would go in F. West Coast Racers. That is going to get... No, I cannot put that in B tier. It's so close. It has all the makings of being an A tier ride, but honestly, I don't enjoy it much for the restraints. So it's going to have to go in the C tier. Whizzer, very nice family coaster. Above the rest of the family coasters in here. I'm not sure if it's quite enough to put it with some of these thrilling ones. So I'm going to leave it in D tier, but it's possibly the best D tier ride. Wicked Cyclone, another fantastic RMC hybrid, that'll go in S tier. Wild One, very good wooden coaster, pretty close to Joker's Jinx for me in quality and others that are at America, so I'll put that in B. Next up is Wildcat at Frontier City. I'll put that in D because it's pretty much as family a wooden coaster can get. Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. I want to put that in F just despite the fact that it was closed when I went, but that is not fair. I have not been on it. X-Flight. This will definitely be a shocking pick. I'm putting that in A tier. I think X-Flight is a super underrated ride. Wing coaster with glorious intensity, and I think it's a fantastic roller coaster overall. And finally, X2. X2 is going to go in A tier as well. I don't like it as much as some others do, but I do still acknowledge that it is a top tier ride, so it earned a pretty high spot. So looking at what I left, a Riddler Revenge of some sort, and I gotta zoom in to find out what this is, I'm sorry. So, looks like that says Vertical Velocity. Okay. I'm guessing that was supposed to be the one at Great America. I already ranked that one, so I won't do it. And Riddler Mindbender. Oh, okay. Alright, got it. So that is going to go in the C tier. I think some love that Schwarzkopf looper, but I don't. It's pretty painful and poorly paced now. But there is the list. So in the top, you see we have El Toro, Goliath, Iron Rattler, Joker, Kingda Ka, New Texas Giant, Superman the Ride, Twisted Colossus, and Wicked Cyclone. My favorite of these would be Twisted Colossus. A tier, we have a collection of lesser B&Ms, some RMCs, and that's pretty much what we have in there. And then also X2. B tier consists of very strong wooden coasters, underrated steel rides like Batman the Ride and Batwing, plenty of launch coasters, pretty much premier rides makes up this entire tier. And then you have some others that are in here that are others like Tantrum, but I can't name them all. And then you have the underrated Runaway Mountain. C tier, you have these good ones. You have decent ones like Free Spins and the Best SLC and the legendary Runaway Mine Train, but they aren't quite great rides. The decent ones consist mostly of family coasters and some aero rides that I don't like as much, such as Demon, and most of them pretty much are family though. Then E tier is some pretty bad ones. Some of the Boomerangs deserve that, Firebird for sure, Green Lantern, and all these others that I could name if I wanted to. And then the worst of the worst are Canyon Blaster, Gotham City Gauntlet, Great American Scream Machine, Mind Eraser, and Viper, with Goliath being the worst of those. So that is the list. Very long, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more theme park content. I'll see you next time.